Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. We're going to be talking today about my very top cryptos. I've got a full list. I've provided the X potential and the category for each coin. Usually I just share with you my top 6 coins, but in this stream, I'm going to be sharing much more than that, and I'm going to be giving some more insight on some of the smaller ones because I finished stacking the big ones. I finished stacking Casper. I finished stacking Sui. I finished buying Tau. And right now, I'm really just topping up on the mid caps. I've got no intentions really of topping up any more on my highest conviction plays. So we obviously have these in the list, but I'm looking more so at some of the smaller caps. Now, I'm not looking maybe at really tiny micro caps. I do have a couple of those in my portfolio, but I'm looking more at coins somewhere between 50 million in market cap to $1 billion, somewhere in that range, so that it can get you a nice 7 to 15x, maybe even a 20x if you're lucky. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm also going to be discussing Casper and the Crescendo upgrade, the hard fork that's coming very, very soon in a few days. So we're going to discuss that as well and talk about the potential catalytic effect it could have on the Casper price. Okay, so we got 10 different altcoins here listed on the screen, and I think all of them have potential to make people very, very rich in the next few months. Obviously, provided you put decent money in. If you're putting $1,000 in, you're not going to become a millionaire, right? But if you're putting good money in, then you will. And it's not all about becoming a millionaire, right? A lot of people, they're not going to become a millionaire this cycle, but they will next cycle. But if you over leverage yourself and you become too risky, you could actually reduce your chances of becoming a millionaire in both cycles. So it's about the long-term picture. But these coins for me have a ton of potential, and some of them are pumping a lot right now. So if we look at virtuals, I mean, since my buy alert, that thing's just rocketed to the upside, right? Really, really has. And I actually dropped a new buy alert in the VIP group. A new buy alert. Okay, I'm not going to reveal what it is, but I dropped it last night, or yesterday I dropped it. And yeah, I think it can do very, very well. Okay, put a few $1,000s into this coin. I think it's going to pump a lot. It already is pumping since I put the alert out. We timed it very well, myself and Cryptex. So shout out to Cryptex, my technical analyst. We had a discussion about this one. We both had it on our radar. And he let me know that the chart was looking really good. I agreed with him, and I pounced and got a bag. So if you want those buy alerts, just like virtuals, which is pumping, then check out the VIP group. I think this gem I just bought is going to be the next virtuals in terms of this type of pump. I think it's going to do that probably in the next few weeks. Okay, and it's already showing the signs that it is beginning to do that. Okay, so I'm going to add in here VIP gem. Okay, I'm not going to reveal it just yet, but I'm going to add that in, and category and X's I'm going to put as a question mark. Okay, so if you're in the VIP, you obviously have that. And the other thing I want to say before we get into all the comments is straight after this live stream, I'll be doing a VIP live stream, and I'll be going through all of your portfolios. I'll be ranking them, reviewing them, rating them, giving you my brutal, honest assessments. If I think your portfolio is crap, I'm going to say it. If I think it's great, I'm going to say it, right? No BS portfolio reviews. If you like that, then come on over to the VIP. All right, let's get into the comments, see what you guys are saying. We'll touch on Casper as well. I see a couple comments already talking about Casper, so we'll touch on that. Big things coming to Casper in the coming days, and I think people ought to realize the potential of Casper because of its massive upgrade that's coming. Friday live stream, crypto market cap over 3 trillion. Yeah, man, it feels good to be in crypto again. It's been a few months of pain, right? But now we're getting a little bit of the pleasure. And I think this could last probably until July. You know, we're going to have short-term dips here and there, but I think we're going to have a really, really nice couple of months. And then maybe when we start to get some more data from the macro, things could start to fall down again. So we got some nice time to experience the pumps. And, you got to be perfecting your exit strategy right now because it's still early, I guess. Maybe not for Bitcoin, but when you look at a lot of altcoins, they still haven't pumped a great deal. But you want to be prepared for when they do so you can exit to the best of your ability. And not only do you need an exit strategy, but you need a bear market strategy. What are you going to do? You're just going to sit on your hands for a whole year when the bear market happens? Let's say you make $1 million this bull run. Are you just going to sit down twiddling your thumbs for the whole bear market? Or are you going to actually, take advantage of it and use it to your advantage and make a ton of money? Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to short the hell out of things. So exit strategy and bear market strategy both need to be perfected. Okay. Your entry strategy should already be on point by now, right? You should have already been stacking Bitcoin when it was at 15K. And if you weren't stacking it at 15, you should have been stacking it in the 20s. And if you weren't stacking it in the 20s, you should have been stacking it in the 30s, and not the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, and so on. And if you weren't even stacking it in the 50s, you should have been buying in the 70s that we just experienced a few weeks ago. Okay. And that applies to altcoins as well. So 3 trillion market cap. And the all-time high is around 3.7 trillion. So we're really not far from crypto in general making a new all-time high market cap. Still keeping my fingers crossed. What do you think of gaming? Well, big news regarding gaming, bad news. Rockstar Games announced that GTA 6 is going to be postponed. The release date. So that's not good for gaming. I already don't have a ton of money in gaming. It's like 2% of my portfolio or less. So I'm not that bothered. But, a lot of people were hoping that GTA 6 would be a catalyst for gaming because maybe there's some form of play to earn feature, maybe some form of blockchain feature where you own digital in-game assets. There wasn't a great deal of evidence for that. At least I haven't seen any evidence to substantiate that claim. However, it's a rumor, right? And, buy the rumor, sell the news. It's a phrase for a reason. Quite often, rumors are over-egged, overhyped. And then when the reality comes out, people realize, it wasn't made out correctly. It wasn't made out how it didn't come out as it was made out, right? So, if that makes sense. So, GTA 6 to be released in May 26th, 2026. That'll be my birthday. So GTA 6 will be releasing on my 22nd birthday because I turned 21 this year. So I'll be 22 when it releases. Yeah, it's not great news for crypto gaming, but it will move on, right? It will move on. As it always does. Things will move on. We don't dwell on these things. It could have been a catalyst. I mean, I would say it's a fairly weak catalyst because there's not a great deal of evidence that crypto will be integrated at all. But if it was, that would be huge for gaming. And, all it takes is one thing with gaming to set it off and then it starts pumping. Very much like last cycle, we had the metaverse, okay? Had Meta come out with the metaverse. And that's what triggered a major gaming pump last cycle was the metaverse. So a lot of hopes were there that GTA 6 would do the same thing. But probably by the time this comes out, we are in a full-blown bear market by the time this comes out. Yeah, Casper hard fork in a few days. This is going to be big for Casper, guys. I'm going to simplify this. But basically, this hard fork, if it goes well, it will basically just write off any competition to Casper in terms of a peer-to-peer payment solution. I mean, it will be insanely scalable. They would have completely solved the trilemma. I mean, they already have, but if they do this, they become 10 BPS and it all works fine. Casper is basically definitively the best currency in the world. I mean, arguably it already is now. But if they do that, it will just make it way faster. And not only will it be good for a currency, it will be really good for smart contracts as well in the future, and will facilitate those. So I think Casper's going to wake up pretty soon. I'm not saying, it's going to go to $5 or $10 or any of these, ludicrous price predictions you get all over YouTube. People saying 100x in 2 months. I'm not giving any of those ridiculous targets, but I think it will do really well. Okay, and I got into Casper at 3 cents. I'm already up over around 3x on my money. Okay, because my average is 4 cents, so just under 3x I'm up. 2.8, 2.7, something like that. But yeah, I think it'll do really well. I really do. And structurally, it's starting to look a whole lot better. If we zoom in on more of the shorter term time frames, right? Casper bounced off support here. Okay. It also had a nice double bottom beforehand around the 5 cent region. It's then gone up substantially from that, had a pump up to 10 cents, got rejected, and then flipped its previous resistance level, right, which you can see here. I outlined it a while back. It flipped its previous resistance level that it rejected at multiple times into support, and now having a bounce. So structurally, the Casper chart is looking a lot better than what it was back here, okay? Things change in crypto fast, but back here, Casper looked like one of the worst charts in the top 100 back here. Now, because it's double bottomed, it's had a nice base, it's rose up, it looks a whole lot better. So I'm not denying the fundamentals of Casper. It's the best crypto fundamentally, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be the best investment, right? Eventually it will be, because eventually the tech wins, but it's not always going to be the biggest mover in the market. One day ago, you predicted about Say, but its value is falling. What do you mean? I predicted... The sentence doesn't even make sense. What do you mean? One day ago, you predicted about Say, but its value is falling. Like, what does that sentence mean? Could you rephrase that in a way that I could understand? One day ago, I predicted about Say, but its value is falling. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. Say is down 0.3%. I'm so sorry I talked about it yesterday. If that's what you mean. I'm so sorry, man. It's down 0.3%, I wish I didn't mention it yesterday. It's not like it's up 26% on the week, on the month. Yeah, Bitcoin's next level of resistance isn't its all-time high, though. Its next level of resistance is around 100 to 103K. And there'll be a lot of shorts piling in around that level. So we could get a short squeeze that takes us to all-time highs, or we could have a rejection, right? But if you remember, I remember looking at a very old chart of mine, which I shared with you guys. Do you remember this chart? Does anyone remember this? How many times did Bitcoin reject around 100 to 102K, 103K? How many times did it reject? It was like over and over again. It kept rejecting. And how many times did it go to 91 for support? So many times. So we could do the same thing again. We go up to the 102K and then we come back down to 91K as support, maybe, right? Or maybe instead of going right back down to the 91, maybe we rejected 102, we come back down to 94, 94, 95, and then we bounce and put in a higher low. That would be really nice structurally if we did that. If we could put in a higher low as opposed to just matching the previous support. If we put in a higher low, then that just looks even better structurally because it shows that the bulls are in command. So maybe go to 102, have a little rejection back down to 94, 95, and then we bounce to all-time highs. That's kind of what I think could happen. Obviously, anything can happen, but you've got to look at some potential scenarios. Say is up 7% on the week, 25% on the month. What do you mean? Nothing crazy, but its value isn't falling. I know, man. I don't know what this guy's on about in the chat. And people say all sorts of things, you know. I should delete my YouTube channel because I said I liked Say yesterday, and now it's down 0.3%. I think I should just quit investing, delete my YouTube channel, and, go and live in a cave. Casper is pumping right now. Yeah, it's moving up. It's looking good. It's looking good. I wouldn't go as far to say, pumping hard or pumping, but, it's definitely looking a lot better. I think it will probably start pumping once people realize how good the crescendo upgrade could be for it. But if there's any issues with it, then obviously there'll be a dump. But I think the guys at Casper, they're smart enough to make sure that that doesn't happen. But if it all goes well, I think we're going to get a nice move up on Casper. Hey, Archie, I only use eToro. Does the VIP give guidance on safe ways to buy crypto? Yeah, I give full guidance on that in the VIP. I can fully explain it to you. I use a Tangent to store my crypto. You can buy it on, Binance, Coinbase, Crypto.com, Mexi. If you're completely new to crypto, you don't know how to buy on exchanges and stuff, I can fully help out with that. But I personally use Tangent. And if you are interested in a Tangent, use the code Archie at checkout. I'm just telling you, this is what I use. I went to them for the discount code because I use it and I want you guys to use it as well. So, you do you, right? But in my opinion, it's one of the best places to store your crypto, or the best place to store your crypto. 25 years warranty, Swiss-based. So you want to have it in cold storage. You don't want it on exchanges. Now, eToro might be okay because it's more of a reputable exchange with like regulatory backing, but the Mexis, the Gate.ios, a lot of these are offshore exchanges in God knows where, with no regulations, and they could go bust just like FTX. So you don't want to have all your money in those. But yeah, I explain these types of things in the VIP, and a lot of other people will help out as well. Archie was in Mantra? No, I was never in Mantra. Why are you guys just talking out your ass? I never ever held Mantra. You getting me mixed up with maybe Archetype? What are you guys on about? I never, ever, ever held Mantra. I didn't hold it once. Now, maybe you're trolling, and I can't tell because there's no tone. There's no tonal impact when it comes to YouTube chat. So I can't read your tone. But yeah, I never, ever, ever held Mantra. Not even $1 in it. And I never told anyone to buy it either. Is Arweave a good buy now? I think it's a decent buy. There's other coins I would prefer to buy over Arweave, but it's a coin I hold. I think it'll do well. But yeah, I prefer some other coins over Arweave, just because Arweave, it's a great project. It's just a bit boring. It's just a bit boring. I mean, it's a storage coin. It's boring, but it is a quality project. I have it, and I think it'll do well. But I would prefer Casper, Sui, Tau, Ondo over Arweave personally. Man, you guys need to stop trolling. Archie loves XRP and was 100% in Mantra. You guys are trolling today. What's gotten into you? I never held XRP. I never held Mantra. So, yeah, that's that. I bought Say in November, only did a small amount of DCA since, and I'm only down 3%. Can't complain about that. Yeah, if you're down 3%, you're gonna be up soon. You know, it's nothing to complain about. Say is a quality project, right? The problem I have is when people over allocate to Say. I've got a nice bag of Say. It's like maybe 3% of my portfolio or less. And I like the project. It's good, but I don't understand when some people go and put like 20% of their portfolio in Say. Like, that's just way too much, you know? You shouldn't have 20% in Say. I'm only about 1% in Say. That's a solid amount. Can you give your thoughts on ISO coins, especially Algorand and HBAR? Look, the narrative, it's not going anywhere because the big boys like it. The whales, the institutions, they like those centralized coins. So it's probably here to stay. But I have a preference in terms of which ISO coins I would prioritize. So there's quite a few of them. Some of them I'm not a huge fan of, like IOTA. I don't like its chart. XDC, I don't think it's great. They might pump, but I just don't think they're great. I'm not a huge fan of XRP either, especially with its valuation being so high. There's one that kind of points out to me as a buy, and that would be HBAR. If there was one ISO coin I would buy, it would be HBAR. And I used to hold HBAR, by the way. I used to hold it a while back. But if there were going to be a coin in this niche, there's going to be one which I would buy, it would be HBAR. But I don't own any in the narrative. I don't own any ISO coins. But HBAR's chart, it looks all right. Like, structurally, it looks okay. Sometimes I prefer it if a coin hits the macro fib just as confirmation of a low. It didn't really do that. It was holding the golden pocket really well, but then it fell down. Didn't quite get to the 786, but it was close enough. It was close enough. Bottomed out at 12 cents. The 786 was at 11, so it was a penny off its final fib level. I just find myself in the exact same situation where it's like, why would I buy this when I could buy that? Right? This same mental thought process. I hold a ton of SUI. I prefer SUI to HBAR, so I'm not selling my SUI to buy HBAR, and I'm not adding fresh capital to buy HBAR. So the project will probably do well. It will probably go up. You know, maybe it'll do a 5x, but so will SUI. I'd rather have my bags in SUI because I understand it better and I follow it more. If you really understand HBAR and you really like it, then by all means you can hold it, but I'm more in the SUI boat right now and it's going pretty well, I must say. Do you believe in the correlation between Bitcoin and M2 money supply? 70 to 85 days lag. M2 looks nice. I believe in the correlation because it's a fact, right? The question is, would I completely go off it with my exit strategy? And I would say no. I wouldn't completely go off it. It would just be one indicator alongside a plethora of other indicators I would look at. And this is the problem with M2. People get caught up with it too much to the point where they basically become M2 money supply maxis. And that's all they care about. That's all they look at. They derive their entire exit strategy from the M2 money supply. And I'm saying it works, okay? I'm saying M2 money supply definitely correlates, but you should never, ever have your whole exit strategy based on one macro indicator like that, right? There should be a basket of different indicators that you compile together for your exit strategy. And I would personally say Bitcoin's actual chart, the technicals for Bitcoin, are more important. The technicals for Bitcoin are more important. And I follow those more than I follow the M2 money supply. So, for example, resistance trend lines on Bitcoin, the RSI on Bitcoin, fib levels on Bitcoin. Those types of things are really important because M2 money supply, it might not be going to Bitcoin. It could go to anything, right? And it's the global money supply. So a lot of that could be coming from China where crypto is actually banned. It makes sense in theory. Money supply goes up, price of assets goes up. It makes sense. And it's a fact that that happens. But it doesn't mean it's going to be to the T. It doesn't mean it's going to be to the T. M2 money supply might have Bitcoin going to 150K, the correlation. But Bitcoin might only go to 130K. And then you're waiting to sell at 150, but yet there's things flashing at 130 saying sell, and you ignore that because you're an M2 money supply maxi. So my stance is it's one indicator out of many. You should look at it, but it shouldn't be your sole indicator. Hopefully that makes sense to people. You know, you got other things as well, like the dollar, the DXY. So it's not just the M2. You know, the weekly RSI. This massive macro trend line stretching all the way back to 2017 on Bitcoin. Fib levels. The stock market. Retail, how tapped out the consumer is. You know, there's so many things that come into exit strategy. I could make an entire 10-hour course on it. It's not something that you can just simplify to that level, like oversimplify just to one indicator, okay? It definitely works. I'm not denying the correlation, but there's more to it than just that. Do you think layer one's AI or RWA will upcycle first? I think layer ones and AI will be the first things to run. RWA and gaming, they'll come last because they're the least known about. They're the least hyped up things, right? The most known about things like layer ones and AI, they will probably pump first. It's no coincidence, right? Virtuals and Sui, two of my coins that I hold, are exploding. It's also not a coincidence I got exceptional buy prices on both of those, okay? But that's another topic. But Sui, we were getting in obviously 76 cents, and virtuals, I did one bulk purchase at 52, was it? $52, $54, $54. Both exceptional buys. I mean, multiple X's on both of those. Also, one interesting little thing I did, which went well as well, I shorted gold at the top, and I told the VIP group, here you go. I think the VIX and gold come down as we are getting more macro certainty. I have an inverse gold position open on my trading account. Okay, so there's money to be made in other things other than just crypto as well. And that's what we're doing in the VIP. We're looking at opportunities all around the board, all across the board, not just crypto. If there's an opportunity on gold, we'll short it. If there's an opportunity on the stock market, we'll long it, we'll short it, whatever it is, right? Now, I've closed that short in profits. And a few other members in the VIP also took the short, and I'm sure they made some really nice profits. It's important to have a really well-rounded view on markets, not just crypto, because crypto ties into gold, it ties into real estate, it ties into the stock market more than what people think. You know, a lot of people think, oh, crypto, it's just a separate thing. It doesn't follow anything else. It's just a bunch of guys on their computers trading. No, it's very much tied up to macro cycles, property, real estate, liquidity, gold. Your Bitcoin to me has been inversely correlating with gold quite a lot. It's no coincidence when gold was soaring, Bitcoin was coming down. Because Bitcoin is risk on, gold is risk off. Archie is the truest, hardworking crypto influencer. Wow, thank you, man. Appreciate that a lot. It means a lot, man. Those with truth and honesty will be attacked more than the scammers. Yeah, there's always going to be people attacking the truth, right? The truth can be very hard for some people to digest. Can be a bitter pill to swallow. A lot of people don't like the truth. You tell someone, oh, your portfolio, it might not do 100x. It might only do a 5x. And if it does a 5x, that's good because this, and this needs to happen. If you tell someone that, they don't like you quite often. You know, they won't watch you. I'm telling you right now, I will get a lot more viewers if I was just telling everyone you're going to 100x. We're all going to be millionaires next week. I get a lot more viewers. That's why sometimes I put in the title, you know, these coins will make millionaires, because that gets clicks. But a title is a title. You should actually listen to the content of the video or the stream. And if you listen to me, I'm a very realistic, conservative guy when it comes to price predictions. Now, maybe in a thumbnail, it'll say this or that. It's just a thumbnail, right? Listen to what I have to say. Other people will tell you, look at you directly and say, you're going to 100x your money next week. You know, you'll be easily up 50x next month. It's just all nonsense. So I try to be as real as I can, you know. I really do. I don't try and hype anything up or have any malice intentions. I just kind of say it how I think. And a lot of the time that hurts people, right? No, the Fed won't cut rates next week. The most likely next rate cut is in July, I think. We might not even get one in June, but then they cut heavily towards the back end of the year. That's my expectation, is we get like 4 rate cuts in the end of the year. And that's not always a great thing, guys. Okay, the first couple of rate cuts are good, but once they start cutting extremely heavily and start doing 50 basis point cuts and start panicking, the markets see through that. They see fear. They don't see health. The Fed are always too late. If they're cutting like there's no tomorrow, that is seen as inorganic, unsustainable, and people go into panic mode. So rate cuts are good and all. They have good impacts in terms of, you know, liquidity, because people can get loans easier, they spend more. It's good for assets, don't get me wrong. But heavy rate cutting is a different story. That could show recession. And them doing their last ditch effort to try and prevent a recession. Yeah, man. There's going to be a great opportunity short in the market for sure. We're well prepared in the VIP for that scenario. Yeah, we're really well prepared for that because we discuss these things every day. I mean, I'm in these calls every day with the group, and we're bouncing ideas across. You know, there's veteran investors in this group. There's people who have been investing in markets for 40 years. They got 10 million plus net worths, right? They only come to this group for my crypto knowledge. They already made money. They just recognize I've got knowledge in crypto. They haven't got that much knowledge in crypto. They want to learn from someone who's been doing it straight for 5 years and has retired from it or could retire from it, right? I don't like the idea of retiring at age 20, but I have enough money to do that if I want. So it's a great group, honestly. You got people from all different backgrounds, multi-millionaires, and we just have regular people as well who are trying to get by. So if you're interested in the group, hit the link in the description, sign up. As more demand occurs, prices will go up for the group. Okay, just like in the economy in general. That's how it works, right? More demand, increase prices. So this is our little micro study for supply and demand. But yeah, the Fed aren't cutting rates next week, or the only way they'll cut rates next week is if the economy freaking crashes tomorrow. Maybe they cut in June, but it seems like July is the most likely. The thing with me, I don't see a reason why Jerome Powell will act when you've got markets doing their thing right now. I mean, look at the markets right now. The S&P 500, it's in a massive, massive win streak. The S&P 500, I think, is 9 days up. Biggest win streak in like 20 years. So why are they going to cut rates in that scenario? They don't need to stimulate growth. They don't need to stimulate inflation or, you know, investments. There's already a good amount of growth. So as always, they'll leave it too late. They'll kick the can down the road, and a crash will occur. But we don't need to worry about that just yet, okay? We've got a lot of money to make in the next few weeks and next couple of months. We don't need to worry too much about that, but it's good to have it in the back of your mind so you're very prepared for when the time comes. Because it'll catch you off guard, right? Everyone will be in cloud cuckoo land, in the clouds, really bullish. I just made $1 million. Look at me. Before you know it, if you didn't sell, your $1 million will be worth 20K, 10K in the bear market, right? So that's in altcoins. Obviously, in Bitcoin, you won't get that much of a crash, but in altcoins, they crash a whole ton in the bear market. Go and look at how much Solana went down. So everything's going to plan right now. We're getting a bit of a V-shaped recovery. We're in illusion land right now. Everyone thinks the earnings are great. Everyone thinks the economy is great. We're going to get a nice stimulated pump. And that's when we take profits. And I'm very ready and prepared and excited for that. So I'm going to wrap up the live stream here, guys. I really do appreciate you joining. I will be doing another live stream in 5 minutes. So if you want to join, head on over to the VIP. It's still not late. Still not too late to join. You can sign up in 2 minutes and you'll be in the stream. And I'm going to be going through your portfolios. Now, if you miss it, you will be able to watch it back. So don't worry if you miss it. But I'm going to be doing a portfolio review live stream, going through your portfolios, letting you know what I think. If they're good, I'll tell you. If they're crap, I'll tell you. Be straight up and honest. You know, it's no good going to the doctor and you got an issue and the doctor tells you you're fine, and then 2 months later you die because really you had cancer, right? You need to know the truth. And if your portfolio is bad, I'm going to tell you. If it's good, I'm going to tell you. So that's kind of how I operate in the group. A lot of people tend to like it. They like the brutal honesty, and that's why they stay. Very little people cancel the group. I'd say 5% of people canceled during the massive crash we had. Most other groups in the crypto market, probably 90% of people canceled, 80% of people canceled. So there's a reason why people stay, and it's because of the collective unit that we have, and because of the brutal honesty and the results. So check it out if you're interested. I really do appreciate all of you joining the live stream today. Make sure you have a great weekend as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I really do appreciate you. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.